Another massive fight would be Ilia versus Islam too.
Of course.
Yeah.
But I mean, Salim is obsessed with that fight.
Oh, really?
He's obsessed with it. And I tell him, I'm like, but they both got to win more fights in their division first, right? That's kind of how you do it, right? When it's like they both run through their division, and then it's like you're in the position where it's like, I got to make this. That's what happened with Volk Islam, right?
Well, the other thing is too is that Islam moves up, and obviously if Islam won the title, you know, you immediately have a super fight with him and Ilia. So
could that be
I
if
don't
Islam
know.
gets one victory? Could that potentially happen?
You have to see. It's one thing to sit around. This is what the media always tries to do, sit around and talk about these fights before they happen, or, you know, hypothetically speaking. I don't like hypothetical. These are options that we have if things play out that way, but you never know what's going to happen.
Islam Makhachev created major buzz in MMA by revealing his interest in fighting Ilia Topuria after capturing the welterweight title. At the Eagle FC press conference, he said once he takes care of Jack Della Maddalena, his focus could shift to a potential super fight with Topuria. Makhachev admitted the matchup excites him and hinted it could become one of the biggest champion versus champion clashes in UFC history.
Следующий бой после Маддалены пройдет в 77?
Не могу сказать точно. Есть с Топурией какая-то интрига. Мне самому тоже интересен этот бой. Может получится сделать какой-то супер бой. Или, как я сказал, посмотрим по весу.
Islam hinted at moving back down to 155 to face Ilia Topuria after being asked at the press conference if he'd return to silence him once and for all. His response was savage, instantly firing up the crowd and adding more hype to the potential clash.
Также хотел бы попросить тебя вернуться в легкий вес, чтобы ты уничтожил Топурию, и он наконец-то заткнулся и не говорил ничего о бойцах из Дагестана. Ислам Макхачев чемпион!
Как ты хочешь, все сделаем.
Islam Makhachev spoke about his weight at the Eagle FC press conference, saying he feels very comfortable at welterweight. He explained that before his last camp, he was walking around at 183 to 185 pounds, but now sits at about 189 pounds with proper training and nutrition. Makhachev said this is where he feels strong and sharp while sparring natural welterweights, adding that gaining more size isn't his focus since camp has already prepared him to compete at the higher weight.
Weight now, how much did your weight change, and how did your physical condition, your physical preparation change? You know, up until last camp, I think my weight was about 83, 84. But now with the right regimen, with the right diet, my weight is now 86 and a half. Yesterday was 86 and a half. I think right now I'm where I need to be. I'm at the right weight. I'm at the place where I feel comfortable with working out, sparring, and working with the guys that usually fight at 77. To continue to gain the weight from now on is not necessarily the goal of mine. I mean, it might go up by 1 or 2 kgs in training still, but we've already done plenty of work during this camp with heavyweights to make sure to gain the
Former lightweight champ said a return to 155 depends on how his body feels after his welterweight debut, admitting the cut was never easy. If he goes up to 85 to 86 kilos, he and his team will decide the next move.
Consider going back down to lightweight because with everything you said, most likely cutting weight is going to be only harder. Depends on how much weight I'll gain after the fight. So if I'm going to go up to 83 or 84, that's possible. But if I'll go up to 85, 86, then I'm not sure. I mean, it was never an easy thing to cut weight. So we'll have to sit down with the team and we'll have to figure out what the next move is.
Ilia Topuria also showed interest in fighting Islam Makhachev at the White House, calling it a special stage for the U.S. audience. He said he's ready if the chance comes, but doubts Islam will return to lightweight, noting most fighters don't cut back down after moving up.
You versus Islam on the White House card would be insane. Would you want to fight at the White House, or?
Why not? I would love to fight in front of the United States of America.
Yeah.
I would love it. We'll see what's
But it's a year away, right?
It's a year away.
That could be perfect timing for you and Islam, though. What weight would that go down at now, though?
Like, what do you mean? When
like what weight class? Yeah.
I don't care with him.
He couldn't come back down to 155.
Once you try to go up, you never want to come back.
Yeah.
It's like
it's hell, right?
It's hell.
Yeah.
It's hell. I had to go through hell when I was cutting the weight in 145. And now that I decided to stay in 155, it's like two different worlds. I have been able to enjoy the whole process. I've been more happier.
Arman Tsarukyan argued that Ilia Topuria shouldn't be compared to Islam Makhachev until he faces him first. He said Topuria's rise came against opponents past their prime and claimed that if Topuria had fought Alexander Volkanovski earlier, Volkanovski would have dominated.
If he beat me, he's gonna be on the same level as Islam. He gotta beat like someone like me, you know, who can wrestle. He just had easy fights on his career, you know. He beat legit fighters, but not on their prime. If he met Volkanovski 4 years ago, Volkanovski just eat him.
Islam Makhachev admitted that the most logical lightweight matchup right now is Ilia Topuria versus Arman Tsarukyan. He said Arman has proven himself as a strong contender and deserves the shot, adding that with the right mindset, Tsarukyan has the tools to beat Ilia.
Сейчас самый справедливый бой за чемпионство в легком весе между кем? Между Ильей Топурией и Арманом Царукяном?
Ну да, конечно. Если кто-то когда-то, не знаю, в истории страховал бой, делал вес, он всегда дрался почти. Ну, я не помню в истории, чтобы не давали бой. Арман сделал последний турнир вес, подстраховал бой. И я думаю, он должен быть следующий. Он доказал, что у него же была проблема с весогонкой. Он доказал, что может спускаться, гонять вес. И я думаю, что это самый актуальный бой на данный момент.
У кого было бы больше всего шансов на победу?
Ну, я думаю, если честно, если Арман выйдет с правильным настроем, то он справится.
Oliveira also believes Arman Tsarukyan should be the next challenger for Ilia Topuria's title, noting that Arman is the #1 contender and has already earned the opportunity. He added that since Tsarukyan was previously scheduled for a title fight before withdrawing due to injury, it makes him the rightful choice now.
Uma luta interessante e que causaria talvez uma dificuldade pro Topuria.
Cara, não vou te falar nem de dificuldade, nem interessante. Eu acho que o cara que merece isso é o Arman, o número 1 do ranking. Então, o Arman merece essa luta. Sabe, tá esperando ali, ele luta pelo título.
Meanwhile, new middleweight champion Khamzat Chimaev has been training with Arman Tsarukyan to help him prepare for his upcoming fight. He was also seen motivating Arman to push beyond his limits, with fans praising their bond and calling their support for each other unmatched.
There we go. Let's go, Arman! Let's go, Arman! Come on, boy! Armansky! 400, coach. He's only keeping on 400. Only 400? Yeah.
Smart boy.
Bro.
Smart boy, coach.
Here, how to make records to be a smart. In the cage, you can't be smart. But here, bro.
Carter's only doing 200. What's wrong with your friend here? He's only doing 200.
Give me music, bro.
Carter, you snapping on me? Let's go. That's your 2 minutes? Right there. Right here, 2 minutes.
Если не делаю, hard work смотришь, брат.
400, брат, как говорит тренер.
700 делал я.
I need 400.
Khamzat Chimaev said the fight between Ilia Topuria and Arman Tsarukyan must happen this year, calling it the perfect matchup of wrestling versus striking to prove who's truly the best. Though close to both fighters, he admitted he'd be excited to watch them face off in the cage.
We know you're kind of friends with Ilia too, and you know you're friends with Arman. Do you see them fighting this year?
I hope so. It's a good fight for the both guys. So fighting is, we need to know who is the best fighter in the world. So the both guys is best fighters now. So I will be happy to watch that fight. Yeah, it's a crazy fight. Arman is good moves. Like, he has a good kick, good wrestling, and the other guy has a good jiu-jitsu, a good puncher, you know, so it would be cool to watch that fight.
Former UFC champion Chael Sonnen shared his view on Ilia Topuria's next move, saying he's convinced the UFC is setting up a fight with Arman Tsarukyan. He spoke with certainty, not speculation, noting that Topuria often rejects fights publicly before later accepting them. Sonnen added that his confidence came from being close with Arman's wrestling coach, who provided inside information.
Side of illness or even if I'm breaking news to you, then I'm not sharing my opinion. I'm sharing a fact with you. It's Arman versus Ilia. That is 100% the plan.
What makes you so confident, 100% sure it's going to be Arman Tsarukyan getting the shot? I've said that, I'm pretty sure I said I'd eat that hat behind me if his next fight was for a title, just because it seems so grim, Chael.
Sure.
What has changed?
Well, there's a couple things. I mean, first off, I'm obviously coming to you with information, whether I should have or I shouldn't. Secondly, I was the best man in his wedding. His name's Daryl Christian, and he's the wrestling coach of Arman Tsarukyan. Third, I just spoke to Coach Cal. I wanted to come out and I wanted to film Chimaev training, and it turns out that Tsarukyan's in the room.
Chael Sonnen saw Ilia Topuria's recent comments as a sign that a fight with Arman Tsarukyan is being set up. He noted Topuria's habit of rejecting fights publicly before later accepting them, calling it a clear pattern, except when it comes to Paddy Pimblett, whose name Ilia never turns down.
Bigger tell also was what Ilia did a week ago, which is said, I don't want to fight. And the greats always, they don't even know they have it. They don't even, coaches will break them down. It's the same with technique. A coach will have to break, hey, he slips here before he throws hook. Chuck Liddell had a big thing that he would blink before he threw punches. I'm just sharing, like, everybody has something that gets them going. Your job is to go find out what it is, but it's not any different in promotion. Ilia's first move for doing a fight is to deny the fight. The only person that he's ever openly said, I'll fight, is Paddy. Everybody else that he's getting ready to fight, he denies it.
Chael Sonnen compared Ilia Topuria's approach to Anderson Silva's old tactics, where Silva would first dismiss a fight, then accept it, let injury rumors circulate, and finally confirm it. Sonnen believes Ilia seems to follow a similar pattern, intentionally or not.
Fight. He'd let that run for about 2 weeks. He would then accept the fight. He would let that run for about a month. He would then slip an injury report to the media where you think the fight is off. It's not going to happen. He'd get his run out of that, and then he'd come out and tell everybody I'm fine and it's on. I'm only sharing. That was his system. 100% of his fights, he built the same way. Ilia is not any different whether he knows it about himself or not. But Ilia's first move when he's going to fight a guy, aside from Paddy, is to say, I'm not fighting.
Arman Tsarukyan hinted at a possible title fight with Ilia Topuria, joking that Chael Sonnen might know more than he does. He suggested Ilia is avoiding the matchup due to its risk, preferring easier high-profile opponents over defending the belt against him.
I want to fight for the title. I've been waiting so long, and Chael Sonnen maybe knows something.
And do you know if those conversations about a title fight are ongoing with the UFC?
They didn't tell anything yet to me. So I'm just still waiting, training, and trying to call out Ilia as much as possible. But
yeah, we've seen some of the tweets towards Ilia. They've been funny. I enjoyed the duck video that he did. What do you make of the fact that he says he would rather give up the belt than fight you? That you just don't deserve it. He doesn't want to do it.
I mean, he feels that he's gonna lose that fight, and it's better to give the belt and then like go up or like wait when what happened with me, because he knows just I'm a big problem for him, and I'm gonna get his title. He knows that, and he wants to get easy fights with Petty or Gage or with someone, just make money and to defend. But with me, it's going to be hard for him.
Dan Hooker revealed he's been cleared by doctors to return in November and has his sights set on Arman Tsarukyan, saying no one ranked between them is willing to take that fight, and he's ready to test himself against one of the division's toughest rising contenders.
Had ducked him, but I've heard you call his name many times over the years, so there's that chat.
It just didn't work out. I'm cleared to fight in November. That fight was in October. I never even got offered that fight because I told the UFC that I don't have medical clearance, so I'm cleared for November. All he had to do was kind of sit and wait a couple of weeks, but you know, it's just the stars didn't like. I want that Arman. I think he's a scumbag, monobrow loser. That and I'll knee him right in I'll cave his face right in. That's on the cards. There's not a single other fighter in the top 5 or anyone ranked between me and him that even wants that fight. Like, no one, he's the number 1 contender. No one gives a flying about.
Dan Hooker earlier suggested that many top contenders were avoiding Arman Tsarukyan, not out of personal reasons, but because his skill set makes him one of the toughest matchups, with fighters giving public excuses while secretly not wanting to risk looking bad in the cage.
Very good fighter, and now all those big name guys they've got a good excuse to not fight him, you know, like Ilia said he's not going to fight him. The UFC says that he needs one more
that's always the fight I want, and not because he's a prick and I hate him, but because I genuinely think that he's the harder fight, and all those big name guys have like an excuse to not fight him, because I think he is the best at winning fights. Like, he's not necessarily the most dangerous fighter. Like, Oliver is very dangerous, Gaethje's very dangerous. I think he's the best at winning fights, and so a lot of these guys have a justifiable reason to avoid fighting.
Arman Tsarukyan said he's open to fighting another top contender if Ilia Topuria isn't available, but only with a guaranteed title shot afterward. He named Justin Gaethje as his top choice, believing a win would secure his claim, while also mentioning Dan Hooker as an option, stressing that the UFC shouldn't overlook him in favor of booking Ilia against Paddy Pimblett.
The contenders is Gaethje, who wants to fight for the title, because if I beat him, he's not gonna say anything about title, or Paddy, those two names. But Hooker, he's not on the title contender, but still, if they give me those three names, I'll fight. But they gotta tell me, if you beat this guy, you're gonna fight for the title, and they're not gonna like make fight Paddy versus Ilia and me versus someone, because I wanna fight as soon as possible and then go.
Michael Bisping called Islam Makhachev versus Ilia Topuria one of the biggest fights the UFC could make, warning that if Topuria takes another contender first and loses, the promotion could miss out on a blockbuster matchup with Islam.
Ilia is special. I'm not saying that he's not. But if he lost to them, there's a massive market opportunity lost there, because Ilia versus Islam, Ilia with the rise, Ilia still being in a lot of people's minds, the featherweight champion against the lightweight champion, there's something there. And yeah, if he loses to Gaethje, but then 2-3 fights later gets a shot, it's not quite the same sell. The public wouldn't be quite as still invested. So I think they're going to give him the title fight. I think
Michael Chandler praised Ilia Topuria's skill set, but said Islam Makhachev's experience would be the deciding factor, adding that if the fight goes into the later rounds, Topuria wouldn't survive against the Dagestani.
And Ilia Topuria go at it. Who you think wins?
Ilia Topuria may be one of my favorite guys to watch stylistically. How he doesn't force things, not getting emotional, not pushing too hard, also not taking his foot off the gas. He's just right there in the middle until he lands the big knockout punch. So I think he could catch Islam, but if that fight goes anything past 15 minutes, I think Islam beats him handedly, just because Islam is a large 155er, and I don't think Ilia is that big. But ton of respect for both of those guys, especially
Joshua Van picked Ilia Topuria to beat Islam Makhachev, admitting Islam is tough and skilled, but believing Topuria has what it takes to turn the matchup in his favor.
It's hard to beat, you know what I mean? But I'll go with Ilia just because he's a striker like myself, you know what I mean?
UFC heavyweight Curtis Blades backed Islam Makhachev to beat Ilia Topuria, saying while taking Topuria down would be tough, if Islam succeeds, it would be game over for the Georgian.
Take him down. It won't be easy to get the takedown, but he will be constantly looking for takedowns. Once he gets it, he'll probably just squeeze him and smush him. And
Eddie Cha praised Ilia Topuria as one of the UFC's best, predicting he would beat Islam Makhachev in a potential matchup thanks to his rapid striking improvements on top of his already strong grappling.
People probably think I'm crazy, but I think Ilia can get it done.
Okay.
He's one of my favorite guys to watch right now. His distance game. I mean, if you've seen him when he was like 6 or 7-0 at Brave before the UFC, he would just take guys down and just grapple. You know, I think that was his biggest strength. That's why I'm so impressed with that guy, because for him to be as good in striking in a short amount of time, understanding the game and how he runs his offense.
Tim Welch believed Islam Makhachev would be too strong for Ilia Topuria, acknowledging Topuria's solid grappling and striking, but predicting the Dagestani champion would handle him with ease and keep his title.
Ilia versus Islam Makhachev, he's probably going to walk in the cage. I think he was around 180, 181. Ilia Topuria has never thrown a kick above the waist, ever in his UFC career. He's got this wide boxing stance. Obviously, there's a puncher's chance, but as soon as Islam grabs a hold of him, I think it's going to be over. You're fighting someone who's an orthodox boxer. It's not that hard to time a shot to the legs, and I'm sure Ilia is a really good grappler, really good black belt, but I think Islam's just going to be too strong, too powerful, and it's going to submit Ilia.
Featherweight fighter Juliana Rosa wasn't sure about the outcome, but felt Ilia Topuria had a real chance if he lived up to expectations. He said he'd heard plenty about Topuria's skills and leaned toward him to take the title from the Dagestani star.
I hear nothing but great things about Ilia's grappling and his wrestling. So if he lives up to the hype around his grappling and his wrestling, then I got to go with him 100%.
And you think he does? You think he can beat Islam?
Well, if the hype is real about his wrestling and his grappling and his strength that I've heard, then if I go with that as truth, then yeah.
That's a wrap for today's video. Share your predictions about these matchups in the comments. And don't forget to hit subscribe for more UFC updates and upcoming fight coverage.